When I came back from that big trip up north, I returned to work, still waiting on answers from my bosses. I was trying to be patient, trying to still do what I needed to do, but the waiting was wearing on me. I felt like I was supposed to put my life on hold while they tried to figure out whether or not I was worth investing in. That job was the only thing left tying me to that area. Coming back from up north, I knew I didn't have to live in Papama anymore. I had a home on wheels and I could move wherever I wanted. Plus, I had already let go of so much. I felt exploration and travel was calling me. So when work wasn't leaning towards me, I knew that I was going to have to quit. The truth is, starting over without a clear plan isn't a new thing for me. I've been doing some version of that my entire life. Walking away, figuring things out as I went, adapting, that part I really know how to do. So I quit. I didn't have another job lined up, but I knew I was done waiting and I knew I was ready to move on. Coming back to Peppermore after that trip, I was back in a place I knew, but I wasn't trying to return to the life I had before. I was living in the caravan, keeping life simple, and letting myself stay in that in-between space for a while. There was a lot of curiosity in that season. I was going back and forth to festivals, meeting new people, finding new circles, and doing more of what felt alive to me. I didn't have a perfect plan, but I did have direction. I wanted to go south. I wanted to explore more of New Zealand and see where else I might be able to make a life for myself. Resigning gave me another level of freedom. At first I thought it was just a short break, a couple months to breathe, a couple months to regroup, maybe head south, maybe land in Nelson, maybe find work there and start something new. But even with that freedom, I wasn't ready to rebuild. I was stepping into a phase of learning how to use the freedom I'd created, how to live in a way that felt more true for me, and how to wait without rushing what was still taking shape. Less about producing, more about letting life settle and see what's coming next. After I said my goodbyes at work, I stayed in the area for a while longer. I picked up a house-sitting job in Papama to save money, and I started learning something important. I could live on a lot less than I thought. I didn't need as much as I once believed. I needed to feel okay. That season taught me something about simplicity, resourcefulness, and this new freedom I was stepping into. I had no idea this wasn't just a couple months off before I was ready to rebuild and create again. It was the beginning of a much longer chapter. It actually took a whole year of finding my footing, adjusting, learning how to trust myself in a completely different way. And in that year, I changed the way I thought about stability, because I used to think it came from earning an income, working hard, having a good job, having a clear and calculated plan. But I was starting to learn that for me, it comes from knowing myself, showing up for myself, and building inner trust, having adaptability and resilience in the face of change. These were becoming my new strengths, something that had always been with me, but that I was developing. I think for a long time, I thought stability was something outside of me. A job, a place, another person even. Something I could point to and say, that's what makes me secure. But I was starting to see that stability had to mean something deeper than that. Because the truth is, life keeps changing. We change. And I was beginning to understand that no matter how carefully I planned, I couldn't force life to unfold exactly the way I thought it should. Sometimes the better path only reveals itself when you leave room for change. When you stop holding on so tightly to what you thought life was supposed to look like. And the more I chose what felt true for me over what looked right on paper or what made sense to other people, the closer I got to the life that actually fits. There wasn't really anything to fall back on anymore. But slowly I was starting to understand that maybe my stability had never been in staying put. Maybe it was in my adaptability. Maybe it was in my courage and in my resilience. In my willingness to choose what's right for me and trust that I would meet myself on the other side of that.